Trump's latest remarks may be seen as a second attempt to appease his biggest Asian rival amid the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump appeared eager to make Xi happy after Iran reached out China amid fears of Beijing being drawn directly into the war. The U.S. could now be seen as entering damage control mode after its bid to squeeze a key oil route used heavily by China-triggered backlash. U.S. President Donald Trump said China's Xi Jinping was very happy about the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, presenting the move as a development that could ease wider global trade anxieties. Trump made those remarks on Truth Social, where he also pointed to an upcoming meeting with Xi and suggested the reopening would benefit China as well as the wider world. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "President Xi is very happy that the Strait of Hormuz is open and/or rapidly opening. Our meeting in China will be a special one and potentially historic. I look forward to being with President Xi. Much will be accomplished." Unquote. Amid this, the first passenger vessel passed through the Strait of Hormuz on April 17 since the war began, marking a notable sign of maritime movement returning to the crucial waterway. The Malta-flagged Celestyal Discovery had been docked in Dubai for 47 days, according to vessel tracking data cited by Marine Traffic. The vessel was reportedly sailing without passengers and was headed towards Muscat in Oman after departing Dubai. Tensions had remained high after Trump imposed a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz on April 13, making the vessel's transit especially significant in the broader regional context. Amid the simmering tensions in the region that have been building for weeks, Iran has reached out directly to China through high-level diplomatic channels to urgently discuss the implications of the ongoing U.S. naval blockade in key strategic waters. In a stark warning during these discussions, Iran explicitly cautioned China about the highly dangerous and far-reaching consequences that could arise from what they describe as provocative U.S. military action specifically in the Hormuz Strait. According to recent reports from reliable sources, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held an important phone conversation with his counterpart, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, to address these pressing regional security concerns. The specific details and key highlights of this significant conversation between the two diplomats were exclusively revealed in a detailed Al Jazeera report that was published on April 15. During the call, Araghchi clearly stated that the aggressive U.S. positioning and military deployments in this vital international waterway would inevitably lead to a highly complicated and potentially explosive situation for all parties involved. The Iranian minister went on to emphasize with strong conviction that such provocative military movements by the U.S. in the area pose a direct and serious threat not just to immediate interests but to the broader regional stability across the Middle East. In his response during the phone discussion, as noted in the report, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi praised the remarkable resilience and steadfast determination of the Iranian people in the face of these mounting external pressures. Wang Yi also reaffirmed with clear assurance Beijing's unwavering readiness and commitment to assist Iran in advancing constructive diplomatic efforts aimed at de-escalating the current crisis. This critical diplomatic call between Iran and China took place on the very same day that U.S. President Donald Trump publicly announced his intention to reopen and secure the Strait of Hormuz amid escalating naval tensions. Trump said, quote, "China is very happy that I am permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. I am doing it for them, also, and the world. This situation will never happen again. They have agreed not to send weapons to Iran. President Xi will give me a big, fat hug when I get there in a few weeks. We are working together smartly, and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? But remember, we are very good at fighting, if we have to, far better than anyone else." Iran reportedly used Chinese satellite support to help locate U.S. targets during the war, adding a major new dimension to concerns over Beijing's indirect role in the conflict. According to reports, China gave Iran a capability that could help it target U.S. military bases across the Middle East with far greater precision than before. The Financial Times was cited as the source of the revelation in later reporting, with the Times of Israel highlighting the claim on April 15 as the issue drew wider international attention. Iran had earlier claimed that its strikes on American bases across the Gulf were precise, and the new reporting is now being used to explain how Tehran may have achieved that level of targeting accuracy. Even during the two-week ceasefire, China has faced accusations of continuing to support Iran militarily, including reports that it may be preparing to send new air defense aid. Meanwhile, a China-linked ship was also reported to have passed through the Strait of Hormuz despite Trump's blockade, adding to the impression that Beijing is testing Washington on multiple fronts at once. The US on April 13 officially launched a comprehensive naval blockade aimed specifically at stopping ships from entering or exiting key Iranian ports along the Persian Gulf. However, fresh reports indicated that multiple commercial and cargo ships successfully transited the Strait of Hormuz, despite the heavily publicized US blockade efforts. An Iran-linked oil tanker, along with several Chinese ships, were reportedly able to transit freely amid the ongoing blockade, underscoring potential cracks in the American enforcement. A Chinese tanker sanctioned by the United States sailed through the Strait of Hormuz on April 14, marking a striking development amid the new maritime standoff in the Gulf. The vessel passed through Hormuz despite the US-imposed blockade, according to ship tracking data that showed it successfully made the transit out of the Gulf. Reuters made the claim about the vessel Rich Starry, citing tracking data from LSEG, Marine Traffic, and CLR to document the ship's movement through the strategic waterway. According to the same data, the Rich Starry would be the first ship to make it through the strait and exit the Gulf since the blockade began. Notably, both the tanker and its owner, Shanghai Xianrun Shipping Company, Limited, are under US sanctions, making the passage especially politically sensitive. Reuters reported that sanctions on the Chinese-linked company were imposed because of its dealings with Iran, placing the vessel in the wider network of trade restrictions tied to Tehran. The Rich Starry is a medium-range tanker carrying about 250,000 barrels of methanol, according to the shipping data cited in the reports. The vessel loaded that cargo at its last port of call in Hamria in the United Arab Emirates, adding another regional link to the ship's voyage. Reuters also reported that the Chinese-owned tanker has a Chinese crew on board, based on the available vessel data. An Iranian embassy statement described the Rich Starry as a Malta-flagged tanker, adding another detail to the growing attention around the ship's transit. Iranian embassy in Ghana wrote on X, and I quote, "Breaking, Rich Starry, a Chinese oil tanker sanctioned for shipping Iranian oil, flying the flag of Malawi, a country with no coastline, just sailed through America's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz." The Navy, with its many big beautiful ships, issued repeated warnings. Reportedly, the tanker's captain upgraded to premium to skip the ads. Edit. We're being told the blockade only applies to countries the US isn't afraid of. That list used to be long. It now fits on Trump's McDonald's receipt, delivered by DoorDash. Unquote.